my wife $150,000 to hold. She's just going to turn it in to make sure I don't get anything off my sentence. And I believe him. A very, very vicious woman. And I knew his life inside and out. I got 7 years. They're not going to give me anything ever again. So I'm walking around the prison compound, and there was an old guy named Ron Wilson. Ron Wilson stole $57 million. There's articles that say he stole it's like $100 million. But really, the loss was $57 million, right? Because it's a Ponzi scheme. They'll jack up how much he's supposed to have made and got back. But it ends up being $57 million. So, and most of that money was taken from like pension funds, retirees, churches, and so he was an old con man, right? And this is going to sound horrible, but I liked Ron Wilson. I liked him. He was super gruff, real an abrasive personality.
You don't say. In prison?
No, outside of prison. In prison, he was probably softer, but he was a harsh guy. But I did like him. So I don't want to sit here and say, "Oh, I didn't like the guy." I'm not going to lie. I liked him. That's Ron Wilson.
I see what you're saying.
City councilman too, by the way.
God, something about these Florida city councilmen.
No. This was South Carolina. He was also the president of the Sons of the Confederacy.
Oh, so in prison now. That's not a good look for him. Depends where you are, I guess, right? Because they run in clans over there. No pun intended.
He's a nice guy. Anyway, he's not. Give a little damage, man. So
20 years.
He got like 19 and a half years. It says 20. We got 19 and a half. So
sure, huge sentences.
He's out by now. He's out already. So what happens is this.
Amadeo got him out?
No.
Okay.
So what happens is I see him. We start talking. We're two con men in prison. We shoot the shit. He kind of reminds me of my dad, right? I like him. He's a nice guy. We walk around. We're always hanging out, talking. He knows. Keep in mind, I come back. I got 7 years knocked off my sentence. Like, if you didn't know I was a snitch before, I just went back to federal prison, got 7 years knocked off my sentence, and showed back up in prison. It's everywhere.
Right. Hey guys, if you haven't already, please take a second and smash that subscribe button down below on the video. It is a huge help to getting our videos into the algorithm, which allows us to get more push and be able to get great guests like this to come on the show. So thank you to everyone who's taken the time to do that this year. We've done a lot better in the numbers in October and November with people hitting the button on the episodes. So let's keep that going into the end of the year. And also, if you haven't checked out Matt's previous episodes on the podcast, episode 96 and 111, they are hilarious. So after this one, if you want to check those out, the links to them are in the description below on the episode.
I'm talking to Wilson. Wilson has just gotten to prison, and Wilson, by the way, is cooperating in his case. He's cooperating against several of his of the financial advisors in his case. And he keeps telling me they're never going to reduce my sentence. And I'm like, why wouldn't they? He goes, because they think I hid Ponzi scheme, some of the Ponzi scheme money. And I'm like, well, they would have to prove that. Did you? And he goes, no. And I went, okay.
Good enough for me.
I said, then you didn't. I said, they would have to prove that. They'd have to find the money, and then they could withhold that. And if not, I said, we'll have Amadeo file a motion. We'll get it for you, bro. You're going to be all right. We keep going around and going, he mentions it again. He mentioned it. This is for 3 months. He mentions it every week or two. Oh, I'm never going to get nothing. I'm like, you'll be fine. You've already done whatever, a year or two. They'll reduce it this much, boom, boom, boom. You'll be out of here in like 6 or 7, 5, 6 years, whatever. You'll be in a halfway house in a year. You'll be fine. You probably got 5 years left. That's what you're really looking at. And you're also kind of giving them hope, right? So we're walking around, and he mentions it again one day. They're never going to give me that. And I go, keep saying that. He's, well, they think I hid Ponzi scheme money. And I'm like, you keep saying that. And I said, why do you keep saying that? And he goes, can I trust you? And I went, probably not. And he looked at me and he goes, I did put away some money. And I went, really? And he goes, yeah. Actually, and here's, this is how fucked up I am. My first thought was and I said, really? I said, you said you didn't. He said, I know, but
Can I start my
did.
tape recorder real fast? Hold on.
He goes, yeah, I know, but I did. He said, I gave my wife $150,000 to hold. He said, he said, the problem is that she now knows, she's found out that I was having an affair.
Ooh.
And my fear is she's just going to turn it in to make sure I don't get anything off my sentence. His wife was according to him, really, and I believe him, a very, very vicious woman. So, and I knew his life inside and out. So, and I knew about the woman he was having an affair with. She was one of the financial advisors that worked underneath him or with him. So,
Underneath, more likely.
yeah. So I'm like, okay. And so we're walking. He goes, I also gave my brother about 30 grand. I was like, all right. And so we're walking. And I said, still, they'd have to turn the money in. And they're not going to. He's, I think they will. I said, well, just hope that they won't. Hopefully they don't. And he was like, well, yeah, you're right. So I remember my first thought when he had said that, the 150, I thought, is that enough? Is that enough to get me a reduction? Because my thought was, they didn't want to give me a reduction the first time. They wanted 30 months off my sentence. I got 7 years. They're not going to give me anything ever again. This is it. I'm doing like I was resolved to, you're going to write your story. You're going to write your little true crime stories. You're going to publish some books. You're going to get a whole bunch of books out there, and that will be some residual income when you get out. And that's what you're going to do the rest of your life. And that's okay. That's a good life. But then he said this, and I thought, yeah, that's not enough. So I said, yeah, it's not enough. They're not going to do anything. And I go and I lay down. And I'm telling you, a month went by.